For generations, those elected to the office of President of the United States have been held to a standard shaped by history, tradition, and public trust. In recent years, many argue that this standard has been badly eroded. What you're about to watch is not commentary or interpretation, but a compilation of statements from the current President Donald Trump, presented exactly as spoken. This is Donald Trump in his own words.
I can be more presidential than anybody. I can be more presidential if I want to be. I can be more presidential than anybody.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all, in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country.
Isn't it amazing how he can take someone else's tragedy and make it all about himself? You're gonna find that that's a common theme. Let's go ahead and roll the next clip.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
you're like
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
I moved on her, actually. She was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and she was married.
Huge news, Sarah.
No, Nancy.
Yeah.
No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there. And she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony everything. She's totally changed her look. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the you can do anything.
Okay, there's a couple things we need to unpack here. First off, you see how little respect he has for women in general. Can you see the entitlement he feels when it comes to women's bodies? Because he's rich and famous, he feels he can grab, grope, or molest any woman he wants. You also get a glimpse of how little respect Trump has for the institution of marriage. It didn't matter if the woman in question was married or not. To Trump, she's still fair game. You're going to see that this narcissistic sense of entitlement will be a recurring trend throughout the video. Run the next clip.
You know who's one of the great beauties of the world, according to everybody? And I helped create her?
Who?
Ivanka. My daughter,
is.
Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
Yeah, she's hot.
I don't think Ivanka would do that inside the magazine, although she does have a very nice figure. If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
We want to know a little bit more about you guys, so we play this game here. It's called Fave 5. I'll ask the question. Ivanka, you answer first, and then Dad, you answer also.
This is tough.
Okay, Ivanka, what's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
What does Tiffany have of yours, and what does Tiffany have of Marla's?
Well, I think that she's got a lot of moral, and she's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
I didn't realize she'd be in the room, but she's on my list. Caroline Levitt.
She's become a star. It's that face, it's that brain, it's those lips, the way they move like she's a machine gun. Is she in the room?
She's in the room.
She's a star.
Alright, so once again, there's a strong sense of entitlement on display. What's especially striking is the consistent way women are treated as objects rather than real people. From the remarks on the Access Hollywood tapes, to comments involving his own daughter, to a random girl going up an escalator, it seems to me that females hold no value for Trump other than physical beauty. He can't even compliment his own press secretary without talking about her physical appearance. Diving a little deeper, if Trump is telling us that if Ivanka wasn't his daughter, he'd be dating her, or he's telling a young girl who sounds about 12 that he's probably going to be dating her in 10 years as she rides up the escalator, what does that say about his thoughts and intentions? I'll leave that one up to the audience. Let's roll another clip.
It has a certain reputation, obviously. Just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
With some of them.
Were some of them young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young
Yeah.
women. What did they do?
In the spa.
What jobs? In the spa?
Yeah, it's people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine, and then not too long after that, he did it again, and I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, does that include Virginia Nefri?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people, yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know.
So here we have Trump airing his major grievances with Jeffrey Epstein. Not that the man was a human trafficker with hundreds of victims, but that he had the nerve to poach employees from Mar-a-Lago's spa. This not only shows us where Trump's priorities are at, it also shows the complete disconnect between Trump and reality. In his world, Jeffrey Epstein's unforgivable sin was stealing employees from the Mar-a-Lago spa, not the multiple girls he trafficked and assaulted. The fact that 15-year-old girls are employed at a spa at all is a bit mind-blowing to me, but it's nowhere near as insane as the disconnect Trump has from normal human emotions. As he showed more recently with the murder of Rob Reiner, Trump is incapable of empathy. Getting back to Epstein, let's roll this next clip.
By the way, I never went to the island. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Epstein pauses, shakes his head, then answers.
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
I don't know about you guys, but it looks to me like, at least one time, these two were friends. Anyway, moving on.
There's Donald Trump, an intellectual. Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
You know, I'm like a smart person.
I'm like a smart person. I'm like a smart person.
I'm like a really smart person.
I happen to be smart. I'm like a smart person. I think, in class, I was a smart person. I went to the best school. I was a good student and all of this stuff. I mean, I'm a smart person. I'm really smart. Really, really, really smart.
Okay, Donald, explain to me one more time how smart you are.
Like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV. So they say, could you repeat that?
So I said, yeah. So it's person, woman, man, camera, TV. Okay, that's very good. If you get it in order, you get extra points.
Best we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. Rarely have we had an experience like it, and it certainly is not good. Recently, and he was saying that China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain. Drug prices will come down by much more, really, if you think 59. If you think of a drug that is sometimes 10 times more expensive, it's much more than the 59%. You know, it depends on the way you want to analyze it, but in one way you could analyze it that way. But between 59 and 80, and I guess even 90%, we're getting them down 60, 70, 80, 90%. But actually more than that if you think about it in the way mathematically.
That last clip.
And I'm still here. I'm still here. And I tested very positively in another sense. So this morning, yeah, I tested positively toward negative, right? So, no, I tested perfectly this morning. It gets a little warmer and miraculously goes away. I hope that's true.
It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. I said calm. You have to be calm. It'll go away. It's going to go away. This is going to go away. And I think we're going to be very good with the coronavirus. I think that at some point that's going to sort of just disappear.
So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number in the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. We have something coming up, Favored Nations, where I'm going to be reducing drug prices by 1,500%, where a pill that sells in Germany for $10 costs $150 here because of the bad price. And I was all set to do it, and then we had the COVID come up, and I had to focus on that because we had the greatest economy in history in my first term. I will tell you that we are going to be doing numbers on the cost of drugs in this country that I'm not talking about a 20% decrease, which would be great. I'm talking about 1,000%.
It's got to be hard for a genius like Trump to deal with the stupidity of reporters, especially if they're female. Roll the next clip.
Are you committing to releasing the full video?
Didn't I just tell you that?
You said that it was up to Secretary
You're the most
Hexon.
obnoxious reporter in the whole place. Let me just tell you, you are an obnoxious, a terrible reporter, and it's always the same thing with you. I told you, whatever Pete Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
IG just reported this year that there was thorough vetting by DHS and by the FBI of these Afghans who were brought into the U.S. So why do you blame the Biden administration for what this man did?
Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
Why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
No, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. She's shocked that I picked her. No. She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay, I know you're not thinking. You never do.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question?
Go ahead.
No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
since you are attacking
No,
our news
not you.
organization,
Not
can
you.
you give us a chance?
Your organization's
You are attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization's
Can you give us a
terrible.
chance
Let's
to
go.
ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you
She's
state
asking a
categorically,
question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No, I'm
give
not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you stay categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you stay?
Nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Maybe that's what I said. This was 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
That reporter he is talking about is Serge Kovaleski, who now works for the New York Times. As you can see right there, he suffers from a chronic condition that impairs movement of his arms. A Times spokesman says they find it outrageous that Trump would ridicule the man's appearance.
Moving on, let's hear from our draft-dodging president on how he feels about the men and women in uniform.
I raised $1 million for him. It's a lot of money. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. But Frank, let me get to it. He hit me. He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. 5.5 years. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you. Do you agree with that? He's a war hero because he was captured.
Dating is like being in Vietnam. You're the equivalent of a soldier going over to Vietnam. And if you have any guilt about not having gone to Vietnam, right, we have our own Vietnam. It's called the dating game.
Did you say that more people were killed by women in this act killed in Vietnam?
Yes.
Okay.
That is true.
And you get criticized for that statement, but that statement is very...
I even went as far to say that you're braver than any Vietnam vet because you're out there screwing a lot of women. Oh, come on.
Congressional Medal of Honor in actuality.
I have to say, Miriam, I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's
What an incredible amount of respect Donald Trump has for our men and women in uniform. Here's a bit more of Donald Trump saying exactly what he means, and then waiting for everyone else to pretend it didn't sound racist. Roll the next clip.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so we have an African American guy at one of the rallies. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln.
I have a great relationship with the blacks. I've always had a great relationship with the blacks.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. Americans have watched their communities destroyed by this sudden, suffocating inundation of illegal aliens. I said, if you let them in, it's going to be hell. They are vicious, violent criminals. These are stone-cold killers. They'll walk into your kitchen, they'll cut your throat. These are people at the highest level of killing. They'd cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next morning. These people are roaming our country. They could go into a restaurant, they can do whatever they want, and they will kill you because they are wired that way. These people are animals. Now they'll say, oh, that's a terrible thing for him to say. No. These people are animals.
It's in their genes, and we got a lot of bad genes in our country right now.
They came in from the Congo. They come in from South America. They come in from Asia. They come in from all over the world. These are hardened, horrible criminals, and we have to get them the hell out of our country because they're ruining the fabric of our country. We're just destroying the fabric of life in our country. What they're doing to the fabric, to the guts of our country, it's not even believable. And you see what's going on. They're taking over towns and cities. They want to flood up Pennsylvania in particular, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and the entire Midwest with thousands of migrants from the most dangerous countries on earth, destroying the character of small towns and leaving local communities in anguish and in despair. Your state will be a dumping ground for people that have committed murder, violent crimes, drugs. Medicare and Social Security will buckle and collapse because these people are going on to your Social Security rolls, if you can believe it. They can't speak English. They came here illegally, and they're destroying Social Security. And they're invading our towns. It's an invasion. What's happening in, Aurora in Colorado, Venezuelan gangs are taking over the real estate. They're becoming real estate developers. Venezuelan gangs have taken over entire apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado. Military-style weapons, AK-47 Supremes. They've got stuff that's unbelievable. They're young, they're tough, nasty people. On day one of my new administration, the invasion of savage criminals ends. And on that same day, the largest deportation in American history began. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shithole, you did. Remember I said that to the senators they came in? The Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. So they came in and they said, this is totally off the record. Nothing mentioned here. We want to be honest because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting. And I said, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let's have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships.
Here's a few more beauties that test our nation's level of common sense.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes.
President Trump in the hot seat this morning after a phone call is released of him trying to convince Georgia's top election official to change the state's election results.
And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
One of the most dangerous forces in modern politics isn't ideology, it's tribalism. And nowhere is that clearer than in the cult of personality surrounding Donald Trump. For millions, politics stopped being about policy, outcomes, or even facts. It became about loyalty. If Trump says it, it's defended. If he does it, it's excused. If he's criticized, it's treated as a personal attack on the tribe itself. These are Donald Trump's own words. Do they reflect your values? This is 5 for Politics, and we'll see you next time.